Hello! The 6 Picks contest is live for Game Week 10. You have until the deadline on October 25th. It's a Friday deadline this week to get your pick entry in the comment section here on YouTube, over on Twitter or on Facebook. There's 6 categories: premium, differential, budget defense, budget offense, gut feeling, and captaincy, the same as every week. For details on how to enter and for rules and regulations, etc., we have 2 prizes on offer. Details on the prizes too are in the vid link in the description. You've got a video there that will explain everything to you. On to the Game Week 9 winner. We had another YouTube comment winner, Delia Dali. Game Week 9 winner with 38 points. Let's see how Delia did it. So for premium, De Bruyne, a bit of a letdown for everybody this week in terms of all those premium options. De Bruyne came through at 3 points. Grealish then was the big hit in this team. 13 points for that goal for Aston Villa and the assist and all those bonus points. Jack Grealish was really saving the day here for the picks entry, because Vertonghen, Wilson and Abraham all came through with just the 2 points, and then the 16 points from Vardy, the captaincy choice, nailed it home. 38 points scored for Delia. Congratulations to you. You win 1 month's premium subscription to Foomni Analytics, one of our prizes on offer every game week. So now that leaves 5-3 the score currently. So 5-3 to the YouTube entries versus the Twitter entries. No Facebook entries have won yet so far. Let's keep tabs on that one and see how it ends up at the end of the season. So the YouTubers are winning at the moment. You Twitter accounts, you need to catch up, play a bit of catch up here. Let's just roll straight into the picks this week. So as usual, 6 categories. They all have criteria that you have to match. The first category is the premium pick category. In this one, you choose a goalkeeper or a defender costing 5.5 million or more, or you can opt for a midfielder or forward costing 8 million or more. My shortlist for this week is Pereira at 6.2 million, Salah at 12.4 million, and Sadio Mane at 11.8 million. Starting with Pereira. The reason why he makes it in here this week is because Leicester have been so defensively solid of late, despite not producing that many clean sheets. 9 goals conceded this season, which is tied 3rd best in the Premier League. Same as Manchester City, for instance. Southampton have the worst home record in the Premier League. They play them next. Only 4 goals for Southampton and 1 point so far for the Saints at home. 3 losses, doesn't read very well on paper for them. Pereira sweeps the bonus points too when he gets clean sheets, so definitely a worthwhile player to have in the premium section this week. Salah and Mane, they kind of come together here. So Salah benched against United because of that injury, drop in price to 12.4 million. Must have turned a lot of people's stomachs that he's blanked in the last 3 game weeks. Spurs still haven't pulled themselves out of the rut, to be honest. That 1-1 draw last week, although the midweek Champions League win should kind of give them some confidence. Mane at 11.8 million, 30% ownership, challenging Salah again this season to be the premium attacking asset for this Liverpool side, outscoring Salah so far by just a couple of points though. I think it's 59 to 54-55, so very, very even keel really. You choose one or the other. Some Liverpool fans might go Salah and Mane in our FPL teams. This week, though, I'm going to go with Mo Salah to announce a comeback. I'm going with Salah this week by the logic, really, that he hasn't returned in a few game weeks now. And if you look back through the previous 3 seasons in FPL, this is an absolute rarity. He very rarely goes 2 or 3 game weeks without getting some sort of an assist or goal. He got a goal and assist in the Champions League tonight for Liverpool, and he is due. So Spurs are struggling. Salah is my premium pick for this week. Let's look at the differential category now. So for the differential pick, you have to choose someone whose official ownership, so team selected by percentage on official FPL website, is under 10% at time of entry. My shortlist for game week 10, I'm going with Neil Maupay, 6 million, 1% ownership. Callum Hudson-Odoi, really impressive stuff recently, 2.7% ownership, and then Chris Wood of Burnley, 1.4%. So all these players are what I call super differentials, very low ownership, under 5%, even though the category states it's under 10%. Stated, Maupay, we'll have to say, he started every game since game week 3. 3 goals this season's not too much but he does look sharp when in front of goal. And same can be said for Hudson-Odoi. 3 assists only, but he's only been playing in 3 game weeks for Chelsea. So I think the forward is the first name on the team sheet at the moment, based on current form. Chris Wood, okay, he's taken over goal scoring duty really from Ashley Barnes. 4 goals in the last 4 game weeks for him, and Ashley Barnes has ran dry under the same period. So home game versus Chelsea up next, not easy. Chris Wood definitely should be considered because of this recent form. My pick for this week, though, I'm going to punt with Mopé. As I said, super differentials this week. He's a less than 1% owned player, so he really would get ahead if he banged for you and you had him in your team. Passing the eye test of late, and he's got 2 nice home fixtures coming up in game week 10 and 11. Everton at home next, followed by Norwich at home. So Mopé is my differential pick for game week 10. Budget defense pick, you have to choose either a goalkeeper or a defender, but they have to be priced less than 5.5 million at time of entry. The shortlist this week, I've got George Baldock on there, 4.5 million. Montoya, 4.5 million, and Fabian Schär at 5 million. Let me explain these ones. So Baldock then, Sheffield United have one of the best defensive records in the Premier League so far this season. And Baldock is one of those attacking wing-backs that is encouraged to get forward when in possession. Enda Stevens is the other one that plays in the opposite flank. At 4.5 million, at 1% ownership, he could be a nice differential budget defense pick. Montoya, another cheap attacking fullback for Brighton this time. No attacking returns yet for him this season. 3 clean sheets for the season. And Everton home next in game week 10. Fabian Schär, okay, 5 million. He's a little bit expensive for what you might assume as a Newcastle defender. Fair enough. But he has had the most goal attempts out of all defenders in FPL this season. 10 in total. 5 of which were inside the box. 1 goal scored out of those attempts. With that being said, I am going to go with Fabian Schär as my budget defense pick for game week 10. A little pricey, as I mentioned, for a Newcastle defender, but still just makes that budget category. He's 5 million. Newcastle have Wolves at home in game week 10. Some decent fixtures beyond that too. The Swiss international loves to go on runs, actually. He has plenty of goal attempts to show for it. So he is a risk. He's a risky budget pick, but I'm going to go with him for game week 10. Let's look at the budget offense pick. Midfielder costing less than 8 million, or you can go for a forward costing less than 8 million. So my shortlist for the budget offense pick for game week 10 is Southampton's Danny Ings at 5.9 million, Jimenez at 7.1 million currently priced, and then Tammy Abraham at 7.8 million. Let's look at these ones. So Danny Ings has 3 goals in his last 3 games. He's on penalty kicks, and provided he can stay away from the injury room for the foreseeable future, he could become a thing again in FPL this year. Leicester at home for Southampton next. Jimenez, 9.9% ownership, still relatively low. I've got a close eye on Jimenez for my own FPL team. I think at 7.1 million he has a lot to offer for that price point. Even with Europa League, he still seems to start every game for Wolves, and he has a goal and 2 assists in the last 2 Premier League games, so maybe he is beginning to find some form there. Tammy Abraham is on the list for very obvious reasons. He's been clinical of late. Maybe not last game week. He was a popular captaincy pick last week, and he failed to deliver anything like many others did, so he wasn't alone there. I'm still going to go with Tammy Abraham this week as budget offense pick. I feel if you don't own him, he's 45% owned at the minute, and it's just because he offers so much value, and he is pretty much nailed up front for this Chelsea side. I know Batshuayi came off the bench this weekend, this midweek here in the Champions League, and he scored the winner against Ajax, but Abraham played that 70 minutes. He started the game, and that's the way Frank is going to roll with him, I think, this season. Burnley away is not an easy game by any means, but I'm just going to back the English striker to return to goal scoring form. Ample supply coming in every week from the likes of Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Willian when he gets going. Let's hope he registers some FPL points this time. I would consider him for captaincy again, 100%. And so I'm just going to punt again. Tammy Abraham is my budget offense pick for Game Week 10. Gut feeling pick next. So have a bit of fun with this category. You can choose any player in the game. You don't have to justify your pick. You can just choose anyone you fancy to do well this week. My shortlist for Game Week 10 is starting off with Anthony Martial, 7.5 million, just coming back from injury. Matt Doherty at 6 million, 3.2% ownership. And then Gylfi Sigurdsson at 7.5 million, 3.6% ownership. Martial, in his 3 starts before his unfortunate injury, he returned 19 FPL points, 2 goals, 1 assist, playing up front on his own, where Rashford is right now. Matt Doherty is an FPL legend based on his 11 attacking returns last season. A price hike and prone to rotation now sees him less popular as a pick and defensive option. Wolves have good fixtures though, and Matt still has 34 FPL points this season, despite not being a regular starter, as I said. Sigurdsson, right, what a huge disappointment he has been in the overall outlook of the week. Overall outlook of the first 9 game weeks. He hasn't really produced, but I'm going to throw him into the mixer this week because of the great goal he scored off the bench in the early kickoff in game week 9. He came off and curled one in late from outside the box. That may just kickstart his FPL season, who knows. He's dropped in price to 7.5 million. He started the season at 8 million. But Everton have Brighton away in game week 11. Not an easy place to go to at the moment. I still think he's worth a mention in the shortlist. I am going to go full of risk again this week in the gut feeling category. I'm going to go with Martial. It remains to be seen if Martial starts in the Europa League on Thursday night. I feel the comeback is close as he regains match fitness. I feel like he's going to probably... Well, I don't know. It remains to be seen if United have rediscovered their form, first of all. Are they going to start scoring goals again and compete? Maybe a little premature, this pick, but I would definitely think it's premature to transfer him into your FPL teams until we have some sort of conclusive evidence. I have a gut feeling, though, he will become a sought after FPL asset again very, very soon. Anthony Martial is a gut feeling pick for Game Week 10. Okay, captaincy choice. Any player in the game in this category you can choose. You can't, just to reiterate, in all these categories, you can't choose more than 1 player per club team across the 6 picks. The Captaincy Pick scores double points. It's their most trusted pick of the 6 picks contest. The short list this week, the usual suspects are on there. Kevin De Bruyne and Raheem Sterling, 2 big hitters for Manchester City, and then Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So all similarly, not similarly priced, but in terms of ownership, they all have similar ownerships. Aubameyang's in there around 30%. Sterling and De Bruyne a little bit more, both around 36%. So Villa at home for Man City. It's a home fixture. When you look at De Bruyne and Sterling, they've produced a lot at home, creative-wise, lots of chances. Aguero is an absentee from this list because I just don't know what's going on there. Jesus started the last Premier League game. Aguero started midweek in the Champions League. I'm not sure if he's gonna be as nailed on as people think, but we can't really justify what Pep thinks. We can just go with who we think is the best option. That's why I've omitted him from this captaincy pick shortlist. I like Aubameyang as an option. He's ran dry in the past 2 game weeks when he was looking so good from an FPL perspective. In terms of Sterling, Champions League hat-trick midweek is bittersweet really if you're an owner, because I captained him last week and he could have had a cricket score in FPL, missing some golden opportunities to get some points. I'm still going to go with Raheem Sterling. I'm going to be stubborn and I'm going to trust my judgment again. 4 hat-tricks now in 2019 for Raheem. 2 this season, 1 in game week 1, as we all know. I'm going to put the faith in him, and also I'm going to put the faith in Pep starting him because he is their in-form player at the moment. So hopefully he rewards that faith with a big haul in game week 10 for the 6 picks contest and for my game week 10 team. Also, as a good point here, I think it was Fantasy Football Fix that tweeted this one out. In the last 3 game weeks, no FPL midfielder has had more shots in the box than Sterling. He had 10 in total in the last 3 game weeks. Very impressive stat to post. As I said, captaincy has been so hard to get right this season. Go with your gut. For me, the obvious pick is a Man City attacker. However, the risk of rotation is constant. It's there. Evidently, Aguero left out, as we said. The first 11 from the last game week was a little bit of a lottery in defence too for Man City. You don't know what Pep's thinking. The same thing has happened to Sterling and KDB this season too. They've both been benched when they've been popular captaincy picks. So, actually, to reiterate, vice captaincy is very important in this respect. Choose your vice captain wisely. You don't want to get caught in a trap like some people this week. Aguero captain, Salah vice captain, and both players didn't play a minute. That's an awful way to polish off a game week. No captaincy points whatsoever, so avoid that trap. Here is a summary of my 6 picks for game week 10. The contest is now open. 2 great prizes on offer. If you score over 65 FPL points and win, you get $10 worth of Bitcoin. And if you win, you get 30 days premium subscription to Foomni Analytics and their suite of FPL features and tools to help your overall rank increase and help with all those vital decisions you got to make on a game week by game week basis. So here we go. Captaincy Sterling this week again. Good luck to everybody for game week 10. Friday deadline. Make sure those picks are in on time. Take care and catch you all next time.